Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tales of Three, an all-queer, narrative-driven D&D podcast where your three GMs are also your three PCs. My name's Dusty. My pronouns are they, she, and I play Ivy Nightbreeze Tinkerfey, whose pronouns are she, her. And for pennies a day, you can... No, kidding.
Look at what the thoughts are behind those eyes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ariana. My pronouns are she, her.
Rip it and rip it.
Elara Spindlespark, whose pronouns are also she, her. And Elara is scared because they just fought some weird creatures in a hole.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wayra. My pronouns are she, they. I play Véres, whose pronouns are he, they. And I'm very excited. We just fucked some shit up. And I want to fuck more shit up. I woke up today and chose violence. Let's go.
A note regarding content warnings. This campaign is a dark fantasy that deals consistently with topics of body horror, complicated relationship dynamics, emotional distress, fantasy violence, gore, mechanized spiders, mental health and illness, profanity, and romantic and sexual relationships. A full list of episode-specific content warnings can always be found in the show notes of each episode. Last time, the group faced off against two jellyfish creatures. Véres showed their martial prowess with their scythe, Elara coated the enemy in acid, while Ivy shook off a hallucination and then whipped out her wand of magic missile. The group killed the creatures and got themselves and Jeffrey out of the tunnels. Back at the inn, Elara, unable to sleep, went to Véres' room and asked for help with a science project. She revealed she had created a mechanized spider bat. After carving runes into the amber she found in the tunnel, she placed the arcane battery into the creature, and Norman was born. Véres asked to use her rune book for a project of their own, and Elara accidentally woke up Ivy after running back and forth down the hallway. Ivy barged into the room while the two were looking through the book, and they talked about fighting demons, the cult Véres was now sure was lurking below, portals, and they learned more about Ivy's daily schedule back home. After a long conversation, Elara and Ivy went back to their rooms, and we pick up now, the morning after. Okay, so you wake up. You're all level 3.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You roll some hit points.
Who's up first?
It's not me.
Yeah, so Ivy wakes up from her trance, does her morning skincare routine, takes a shower.
I love it.
Fucking dries her hair, gets dressed for the day, wakes up Bia, who was sleeping through that whole thing. She's like, all right, Bia, let's go get you some bacon and see if the other two are awake. Oh, I do have someone for you to meet when Elara wakes up. And as she's walking down the stairs, she's like, and Bia, you have to listen to me. Norman isn't going to talk back to you. Norman probably isn't even going to really respond or acknowledge your existence. So you need to be aware that Norman is just a mechanical thing like what Dad makes. Bia's just chirping.
She's probably so excited.
Mm-hmm.
You walk downstairs, and the inn is pretty packed again. But you do notice that the table that you all were sitting at the day before has like a little envelope on it that's like standing up.
Ivy looks at the envelope.
It says reserved.
She looks over at the front to see if she can see Reg.
Yeah, you do see Reg. Reg is behind the bar, just like dishing out porridge like it's her job, because it is her job. And I think after like a couple of seconds, she looks over at you and she goes, all right, good morning. I will have some porridge over to you in just a second. And she seems very chipper today. And she like nods at the table.
She waves and sits down. Bia is aggressively huffing the air.
Not too long after, she comes out with a plate of bacon and some hot steaming porridge for you and some water. And she's like, are you sure you don't want any moonshine? It is a good day for moonshine.
It's so early.
It is.
You know, I'll have a little bit. I'll try some, but I'm probably
She
not.
looks so excited. She's got it like attached to her hip. Just like a...
She keeps strapped.
And she takes your water cup and she like throws it over her shoulder.
Oh.
And she fills it up with moonshine. And she slams it down, and some like spills on the table, and she just stands there, like kind of like playing with her beard, and she's just like watching, waiting for you to drink it.
She like stares her down and picks up the cup and tries some.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
I was waiting for it. This might turn really fucking funny really fast.
What'd you get?
2. My con is a 0.
Oh my god. So you take a sip. Do you drink much, Ivy?
Not really. But even what I do drink would be like severe, like would be like watered piss compared to this.
So you take a sip of this and it burns everything. Your mouth, your nose, you feel it in your ears, you feel your eyes start tearing. You take like a little sip and Reg is just like watching you, like nodding her head.
She starts coughing, but she's like, she holds up her like thumb. She's like,
that's right. It's the best, is it not?
Uh-huh. Mm.
She goes, drink up, dearie. It gets better on the way down.
Okay.
She walks away. And Ivy, after a couple of minutes, you feel a little tipsy. Just one sip. And not long after that, I think Elara comes downstairs. And Reg sees her as well. And she yells out again about the porridge. And Elara's like, okay, cool, thanks. And she sits down and she's like, I really wish they had chocolate chips.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How did you sleep?
Your breath smells like alcohol.
That's a weird way of sleeping.
No, your mouth.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm. I am A-O-fucking-K.
Oh. That's usually how people say it when they're really okay.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Reg comes over and she slides the porridge on the table and she goes, and what about you? Can I interest you in some moonshine? And Elara's like, no, thank you. This porridge is going to be just great. I can already taste it through my nose, smelling it or something.
It burns.
The porridge?
No.
Reg looks at you, Ivy. And she gets like this like devilish smirk on her face. And she just nods. And she goes, and she's like, as she's walking away, she's like, I said it was the best. Elara's like, she got you to drink the moonshine, huh?
I don't think I really had a choice.
Okay. Did you drink a lot of it?
No. I just don't drink.
Okay. But maybe you are a bard. a little singy when we're drunk. Where's Véres?
Probably on his 102nd somethings push up. I think if he could, he would just do push-ups everywhere. Like instead of walking, I think he would just be like, and she makes like push-up motions, just everywhere if he could.
I would like to point out to the listeners, they've literally never seen him work out.
No, she's just assuming.
Elara goes, okay,
Do you work out?
no. Do you work out?
Do I look like I work out?
I mean, I don't know. You might.
No.
Okay.
No.
She eats some of her porridge. How long do you think this is gonna last? We have like a big day ahead of us, kind of.
Can we see Norman?
Sure. Yeah. Don't answer my question at all. She reaches into her pocket, and she takes Norman out. And he just kind of scuttles onto the table.
I think as soon as Bia hears the noise, she looks up from her bacon, and like one lizard eye looks at Norman. She goes stock still.
Bia, this is Norman. Norman can't understand you. And he doesn't experience emotions or feelings or thoughts, really. Just like data processing. So
Confusion.
You can't understand me either, so this is a very interesting morning for me so far.
No, she can understand you.
Oh, she can't speak, right? She can't speak back to me.
No, but she can speak through me.
Okay. Well, this is Norman.
You watch as Bia like slowly inches forward, wings like furled in tight to the body.
Norman doesn't even move.
She feels confused. Even though I told her on the way down that Norman probably wasn't going to even acknowledge her existence, I swear she is the most stubborn pseudo-dragon I've ever met in my entire life. I just don't understand it.
Have you met more than one pseudo-dragon?
She goes, yes, of course I've met another pseudo-dragon. Haven't you met him? Most pseudo-dragons are so, like, prevalent. I mean, you could really just even go to a local market and buy a pseudo-dragon if you wanted to. I found mine homegrown. I rescued her from the river. But, you know, if you had enough gold or whatever the fuck, you could, I mean, most of the time we barter for things, honestly. I've never even seen a gold piece before until I saw one when my father...
Can I make a perception check? Is anyone paying attention?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Alara starts looking around for a 4. She got a 4 on the die.
You think you are in your own little worlds. No one is paying any attention to you.
Until my father put like 500 gold into my hand and was like, here's all the things that you could use. And he's like, it is probably even not. I don't really. But yeah, pseudo-dragons are so prevalent.
Oh, your life is very strange to me, Ivy.
I don't know why.
I think we come from 2 very different worlds.
Giggle. No. Love her so much.
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I just want Alara to know. It's a 4. She goes, okay, I think you should eat porridge and not drink anymore. And she like takes the moonshine and like slides it towards the edge of the table. Porridge will help.
This porridge is disgusting.
She goes, it is. Don't say it too loud, though. I don't want to offend Red. She seems nice.
This porridge is disgusting.
Okay. I feel like Véres should be around by now, right?
I think you guys do recall that Zath did say that Véres gets up really early every day.
Alara goes, I'll be right back. She walks up to the bar. And she kind of waits and gets Red, like when Red is like, has a minute. And she goes, hey, did you see Véres this morning? Come down. I know you guys said that. And Red kind of like looks around, scratches her beard. And she goes, it is very strange. He is up very early. And Alara goes, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. And she fucking books it to the stairs. I think that she thinks that Véres stole her book of runes, and she's gonna run to his room, knock on the door.
As she goes to lift her hand to knock, Véres is like opening the door and walking out and like almost bumps into her, not realizing. Oh, he's like, oh,
hey, hi,
good morning.
Good morning. You're sleeping. It's late morning for you. Sleeping late.
Yes, sorry, I was up quite late last night. Finishing with this, and he hands her back the book.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you for letting me borrow it.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for not stealing it. I didn't think that you were going to at all, so that's, really great.
I would not dream of running away with your book, Elara.
Good. That's good. That's a good thing. So, Ivy's drunk at the table.
Already?
Reg got her to drink some moonshine.
Oh, for the love of God.
Yeah, only like a sip too, so I don't know how long that's gonna last.
She's going to need to drink a lot of water.
I think we go downstairs and go to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Ivy, look who I found.
Hey, guys.
Oh, good morning, Ivy.
How was your workout?
It was all right.
See, I told you. And she points at Elara aggressively.
She goes, okay. I wasn't arguing.
It felt like you were in my mind.
Not as long as I wanted it to be, but I heard you're already in your cups this morning.
Listen. This is what's being... She takes a breath. This is what being a Oh my god. This is what being a people pleaser gets you. Drunk. At 9 a.m. I hate it.
You know, you can just say no.
I'm pretty sure she could kill me.
No, I don't think that she could.
I think she could.
Mostly because her partner is head of the guard, so, you know.
But
Even more so.
they could
Then
be in
she
on
could
it
get
together.
away with
Mhm.
it.
Yep. That's how they go. That's how it works, you know?
They chuckle.
When you're in bed with the law.
Is this the moonshine? They hold up the cup.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's Shun mine.
Elara laughs.
Vera shakes her head and downs the whole cup.
I'm going to throw up on your behalf.
Make a constitution saving throw. It's so high. Like, it's so high.
That's 22.
23 was the DC, my friend.
Oh shit.
You just downed a whole cup of moonshine.
That's okay. He's a little buzzed. He goes, nice. Goes down well. So, first order of business today.
Elara's letters.
Moonshine? No, it was moonshine. Was the first order of business.
I don't have that in my notes, Elara.
Well, you better make
This
an
is an
addendum.
extracurricular
Yes.
activity.
Well, I didn't do it. It wasn't me.
He just kind of chuckles, nods, and is like, I'll get us some water. And goes and gets some water from Reg and some porridge.
She looks at you and she goes, I saw you.
Oh no, it's good. How much for a bottle?
She smiles and she goes, for my future bartender, it's on the house.
Chuckles.
She like reaches under the bar and she slides a bottle over. She goes, don't drink it all in one place. You will regret it.
I can already tell. And there's a slight flush. There's a little buzz. It's like, thank you. And he holds up the bottle.
And she goes, just don't tell my wife that I'm giving away free moonshine again, especially to one of her gods. She will not be happy about it.
Your secret is safe with me.
As you walk back, you hear Ivy goes, and that's how I found out that oil can be flammable under the different circumstances.
Elara is nodding her head.
Not even paying attention.
Véres puts a big ass cup of water in front of you, Ivy. Says, drink all of it, please.
What is it?
It's water.
She downs it.
It is water.
Yeah. No, it's poison, you die, bitch. Roll a new character.
It's more moonshine.
It's moonshine.
It's Shun mine.
It's mine.
Véres does put his pack down on a chair and puts a whole last bottle of it in his bag, though. He sits down and has breakfast with them. And downs a bunch of water himself.
At one point, while you're eating, Bia sneaks over to your plate of bacon and just like stares you down.
He looks at her.
She like reaches forward with her mouth open slowly. Direct eye contact.
He pulls the plate back. Then he gives her a couple pieces.
She runs off excited.
He just smirks. Says, no, but really, what are we doing this morning?
Elara needed to do the letter thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I typically, in every town that I go to, I typically check out the Science Guild, and just like see what's going on there, you know? And I can see if they have a way that I can cast sending to my parents just to update them on, you know, just some things going on in my life.
Ivy looks up.
Demons and all that.
Cast sending to your parents?
Mm-hmm. Like sending stones.
Does that work for anyone or just like people you know?
Well, they have to have a stone. So typically like the guilds have stones that go to each other. I have like a special way that I can contact my mom, but it's really for emergencies only, and this isn't really an emergency. It's more so of a hey mom, this is some weird stuff that's happening in this town kind of thing, you know? So,
She nods, and she goes, it's really nice that you can talk to them.
it is. I don't do it probably as much as I should, honestly. I think I forget to I get like wrapped up in the things that I'm doing, you know? But almost dying kind of makes you put some things into perspective, I guess. Can you not talk to your parents?
No. I can't right now.
Well, you can like mail them a sending stone. Maybe we can go to this when we go to the store. You can see maybe we can buy a sending stone. And you can mail it to them.
I don't know. My parents are so far away. I don't probably even wouldn't get there. So it's okay.
Xalan's not that far.
No, Extolin is not that far. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. But so the guilds talk to each other. Is that what you were saying? That the guilds all kind of talk to. That's really cool.
Your dad should your dad should know that. I feel like that's like a common thing that happens with the guilds, you know?
Totally.
Lucky 13 on my insight check. What'd you get? Natural 1?
A natural 1.
So what does Elara pick up?
I think that, Elara, what you discern is Ivy has no idea how far away Exalin is. And you get the sense that her parents are further away than Exalin for sure. You think about your conversations over the last little while.
Especially the one last night about names holding power.
Yeah. And you're like, Ivy doesn't know a fucking thing about this world. Something's not adding up.
She's just a silly, goofy girl.
She doesn't say anything. I think she looks at Véres to just kind of see, like, is he paying attention to the conversation?
Passively, he seems to be.
She goes, yeah, maybe your dad is from a guild that doesn't have sending stones. That's probably something that's somewhere, some guild somewhere, you know, that I've never heard of.
Like I said, it's a very exclusive guild.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know how much communication they have with other guilds.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably like one that you might not have ever heard of either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you'll get to see this guild. I think that she goes, actually though, for real, I'm pretty sure that this guild, the like parapsychology division at least tends to deal a little bit with magic for the most part. Would that be accurate?
Yep, a little bit.
Okay. So we should be fine. Just don't go in and like don't say anything weird. Usually.
When do I ever say anything weird?
A lot.
When you're tipsy.
Also other times too.
Rude.
Rich just looks up from his porridge and gives you a little smile.
Usually whenever I go into a new guild, I'll kind of like try to like nonchalantly mention something like some recent like magical discovery event or something that was in the news, just to gauge like whether or not they are about magic or not about magic. But I really think that in this one we should be okay because they're like ghost hunters. I feel like they'll be cool with it, but just don't say anything or do anything magic-y. And don't tell them about my pockets or the runes or anything like that. Cool. It's gonna be like totally chill in there. I just want us to be prepared.
You seem rather nervous. You all right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never gone into a guild before without my like my other 2 traveling companions. And so they kind of knew what to expect. So I just want to make sure that you both are like...
Your other 2 traveling companions?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they now?
Not here. She like smiles.
I didn't think they were invisible.
No, yeah. They, we split up like, I don't, like 2.5 weeks ago, I think.
Why?
Oh, fairly recent.
Yeah. Everyone had to kind of do their own thing. So, and our 5 years kind of coming to an end anyway. And so we just decided to do it like a little bit earlier than normal. But anyways, it's gonna be fine in the guild. Just like play it cool, you know? Be smooth.
I will follow your lead.
I'm always smooth, Elara.
Okay. But do you want to go to the guild first, or do you want to go talk to Riven first? Because I feel like Ivy is all about priorities.
I thought the priority was to mail your parents a letter.
Well, yeah, but also there's people being like murdered and snatched in the tunnels, and the cult.
Which, you two don't need to be involved in.
Véres.
Well, no, you can go by yourself. That's fine. We would just wait for you, I guess.
I would keep my illustrious guard dog stationed at your door again. She side-eyes Bia.
Oh, but the poor thing was tired. She needed a nap.
She's a traitor.
I really should report to Riven, so I think I'll head for that first. Whatever you two do, follow me or not, it's up to you.
Well, I kind of think Ivy needs to drink more water. So maybe we'll just hang out here, and then when you're done, we can go to the guild. They might have some information too on the weird stuff that's happening, you know?
I'm sort of hoping for that, honestly. I would like to know a little more before we head in. Maybe figure out if anyone else has gone missing, or if anyone has whispers if we might be involved.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Ivy, are you good with waiting here?
Sure.
Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Véres gets up and heads to Riven.
And so you head out. It's a little late in the morning, because everybody kind of slept in. And the town there are still a lot of tourists. I mean, it's kind of the end of the weekend, but, there are still a lot of people around. As you're walking, you're making your way, you do see some guards with, wearing the badges. And you hear some disgruntled tourists who are kind of upset that the tunnels have been shut down and they can't go on their tours that they paid for today. You're walking down the street, you kind of, as you make your way kind of out of the main town square and go down the road that leads towards Riven's office. As you're walking, you notice, you look up, I'm assuming you're paying attention to your surroundings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make a perception check.
Just 17.
Okay. Well, that's enough to notice a couple of things. You look up and you see down the road from you, where the guard's office is, you see two cloaked figures standing outside of the doors of the office, blocking the way. And as you notice that, you look around, and across the street and kind of like a couple of buildings behind you, like diagonally across from you, you see a robed figure kind of like standing in like an alleyway.
He's gonna try to go talk to Riven then.
You approach the building, and these two cloaked figures are just standing there blocking the door. And as you approach, they look at you, and you look up at them, and they seem humanoid, pale skin. Immediately you see the scarring on their face that Ivy had described to you. And it looks like this kind of pockmark scars that lead down from their eyes and almost kind of trail down like tears. And they're standing there both with their hands kind of clasped in front of themselves, and they just look at you.
He just raises an eyebrow. Pardon me, I'm just here to speak with Riven. And he goes to move past them.
Riven is unavailable. They kind of like shoulder.
They don't move?
No, they like shoulder up.
Okay. He looks at them.
Otherwise occupied.
Is she now?
She is?
I have a scheduled appointment with her this time.
So does someone else.
They think about it for a second, thinking if they're gonna muscle their way through. Do you know when she'll be free next?
The other one, the one who hasn't spoken yet, shrugs. And then the other one speaks. Could be a few minutes, could be a few hours. You're more than welcome to wait.
Inside or out here?
No, right here.
I think I'll return later.
I think that's a smart idea.
He looks at them.
They have like blank expressions on their faces.
Steps off the steps and goes towards the alley behind that goes... Is there an alley that goes between the guard hall? He goes through there and makes like he's walking off to the next part of town. Do they watch him go?
They do watch him go. They don't move, though.
When he disappears from sight from them, he's going to see if he can see into the building at all.
So you know, just being in there, that Riven has no windows in her office, but you are able to see into, like, the main room that has the hallway that leads down to her office. As you look into the window, you can make a perception check if you want as you're walking by.
12.
You see one of the guards sitting at, like, the desk, kind of like the check-in desk, and he just looks like he's doing some paperwork.
A normal guard or?
One that you recognize, yeah, from, like, the previous day.
Is it like, does he know this to be like a permanent guard or a newer one?
You wouldn't know. You saw him yesterday, though.
There's no other entrances, other windows around?
There's another window on the opposite side of the building, because they kind of, like, you could kind of see, when you look through this one, you can see the other one on the other side of the building. And you're not sure if there's a back door.
I'm gonna go check.
Sure. So you walk around to the other side of the building, and there is indeed a back door.
Are there people standing there?
Nope. It's just a door.
He's gonna go listen and put his ear against the door and see if he can hear anything.
Make a perception check.
14.
You don't hear anything.
Nah, he's gonna pick the lock.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick it for a total of dirty 20.
So very easily, it's not a hard lock to pick. You put your tools in, and a couple of seconds later, you hear it click. The door opens.
He just cracks it a little bit and looks in.
So as far as you can tell, you look in, and it's not like, it's dimly lit, I guess. There's like a light kind of at the end of the hallway. There's only 2 windows, and it just looks like a hall, and it turns off maybe about like 30 feet in the direction, and you know by the orientation of the building that it probably leads to like the back way. Past Riven's office, you could have went down the hall, and then this is the other hallway that would lead you outside.
Okay.
So it kind of would like loop around and bring you to the front eventually.
I think he's gonna sneak in and see if he can try to listen in on whatever conversation Riven is having.
Make a stealth check.
Just want to make sure that she's not gonna die. 21.
Nice. You are super stealthy. There's nobody in this hallway. You kind of make your way to the edge of the wall. You peer around, and you can see about 50 feet down the hall. It opens up, and there's like the desk where the other guard was sitting at, and you see Riven's door is about 20 feet away from you.
Shit.
And it's closed. You can make a perception check from where you are if you want.
I think he will. Oh, it's not bad. I don't know if I'll hear from this distance, though. 17.
You're kind of peering around, you're listening, you're straining your ears. You can hear some muffled conversation coming from Riven's office. It doesn't sound like the voices aren't raised by any means. There doesn't seem to be any sounds of a struggle, anything like that. The guard at the desk is just kind of doing his paperwork. And after a couple of seconds go by, you hear the door open. And you hear Riven go, "I'm only going to ask you one more time. Get the fuck out of my office." And you hear like a chair kind of scoot out, and you hear someone stand up, and you hear like dress shoes tapping on the floor as they walk. And you see the mayor come out.
It's going to duck around the corner.
Make a stealth check.
Even better, 22.
Nice. So you very quietly and stealthily slip back around, and the mayor rolled a natural 1 for his perception.
Hey.
As you were kind of pulling back, you see him. He comes out of the door, and just for the audience, he's standing just in the threshold of Riven's office, facing her. And he kind of like dusts off his jacket and smooths out his pants, and he goes, "My dear Riven, I have told you more than once to stop your meddling and not to worry. I have it all under control. Trust me." And there's like a moment of silence. And she goes, "Get the fuck out of my office." He laughs and he goes, "All right, it's your choice." Her door slams, and you hear the footsteps kind of get go further and further away. You hear him say something to the guard at the desk, and then the door clicks open and clicks closed.
I think he's going to go back out the way he came. Opens the door just a slight crack to make sure no one's back there.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Dirty 20.
You peek your head out the door, and you see a cloak, like, vanish behind one of the buildings into a different alleyway.
He's going to wait a second. Does he hear footsteps?
You don't hear anything.
He's going to walk out and go back around the front from the other side and go to the front door.
Okay. The two cloaked figures are gone.
He's just going to walk in.
Okay.
Go have a chat with Riven.
The guard who's sitting at the desk, he looks up at you and he goes, I don't think she's seeing anybody right now.
No?
Shakes his head.
I think I have information she'd like to hear.
He shrugs.
I can take a yelling. Thank you, though.
It's your own ass.
Mm-hmm. He knocks on the door.
Come in.
He walks in. Pardon the intrusion.
She kind of laughs, and you see her like she's strapping up, like she's got her sword. She's fastening her sword belt, and she goes, "More bad news?"
Most likely. I overheard the ending of your conversation with the mayor. I'm sorry.
She shrugs. For years I've had an inkling, and suddenly he's so bold, thinks he's invincible. I'm not going to let him drag this town down.
They nod. I have some bad news and a confession. Last night I broke into the ruins in an attempt to chase down the person who tried to take Ash. In doing so, I found a series of hidden tunnels within that pathway, and some creatures that belong in the Nine Hells. There was also a body which I recovered, and they were alive, sitting at the bottom of a hole. It appears to me that there are some tunnels hidden in them that are set up to slide bodies down. The two infernal creatures are dead. They're taken care of. But I fear there's a hum of magic down there that has me concerned. The presence of creatures of the Nine Hells is startling alone.
She puts her hand up.
They nod.
And she just kind of shakes her head. And she goes, Delilah was right. And she's like smiling, but it's like there's like anger behind her eyes. There's like sadness behind her eyes. Everyone thought that she was fantastical about this. And she swore when we came here that there was something down there. In all the time that she's been gone, 10 years, we were never able to find a way down. And I tried. We all tried until most of them gave up. And it was just me and Reg left. And she looks at you and she goes, be careful. I think that the only reason you found those tunnels is because they wanted you to find them.
They nod. I'm sure you're right. I assume you know about the cult, then, or some sort of organized happenings.
I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't care what it is. I've sent some people out to Burnton City. We're gonna get a real force here, and we're gonna get down there and figure it out.
I plan to go back down myself, actually.
She shakes her head. I don't think it's a good idea.
I know. I had a feeling you would say that.
We'll wait for reinforcements.
They nod. I plan to gather more information before I make a decision.
I'm tripling my guard down there anyway, so if you think you're getting through, you have another thing coming.
They nod.
I'd be glad to have you with me, though, when we go in.
You'll have me there.
She nods.
Be careful, Riven.
She looks at you. You too, Véres.
I nod. And they hand back the badge.
She nods and takes it.
I'll see you later.
I hope so.
I do as well. Oh, and they stop at the door and they're just like, by the way, your back door is unlocked. And they head out. What's Ivy and Elara been up to?
Dunking hoops on the court, man. So, while Véres is going, do you want to go to the general store, or?
I guess so. We can get you that map, right?
Sure.
She goes, well, I don't need to go to the general store.
Let's just go.
Are you sure? Did you drink enough water?
I'm on my 3rd glass, Elara. I think I'm fine.
Okay. Do you know where the general store is?
Look at my face.
She looks at your face.
Does this face look like the face of someone who knows where the general store is?
You know what? We'll figure it out. It'll be like our own little adventure, you know?
Exactly.
Okay. We walk outside. And Elara goes, okay, Ivy, which way do you think the general store is? If you were, what are those people called that, like, plan towns?
An architect?
Architect? Is that maybe? If you were an architect, and if you architized this town, where would you have put the general store?
I think it'd be really funny to put it in the giant statue, to be honest with you.
That would be pretty cool. If it was like a huge statue and inside of it was a general store.
But I think that's giving them too much credit, considering it's an unholy abomination.
It is. Yeah. And you look and it's like, it's doing its janky thing. It's doing its little robot dance. Hi, I'm Delilah Grimm.
Isn't all the stores just in town square?
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's down like one of the side streets or?
It's probably on this main drag. I don't think it's like squirreled away.
Elara's gonna make a perception check. 15
Hey.
for a fucking stupid general store perception check.
Nice. Elara, you see a sign
That says ye old general store this way.
just beyond the statue. It does say ye old general store.
No. I think Delilah moves her arm. And Elara goes, Ivy, it's there. Come on.
Let's go. Quick, before the arm moves.
We walk to the general store.
Amazing. Yeah, do you walk in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You walk into a really neat and tidy store, actually. There are rows and rows of shelving, like wooden shelving units, holding all sorts of different kind of things you would need to either, one, go and travel, or things you would need around your house. You see all sorts of tools and strings to fix up instruments. You see like mess kits and first aid kits, all kinds of things strewn around, stationery. And at the front, very front of the store, just beyond these rows and rows of shelves, is a back desk from wall to wall with a little kind of like latch to lift up where someone can walk through. And you see someone standing behind it who waves to you. And you're like, welcome!
Hi.
Hello.
Anything in particular you're looking for?
A map, definitely, of the continent of Thylacere.
Can do. Anything else?
You have any vials?
We got all sorts.
I would like 20 of them.
Are you gonna stay at the back door? Or are you gonna come up and say hi?
Come on, Ivy, let's go. Let's get up there.
She follows.
It's the big general store. It's her first time in a general store. Elara says, not knowing if she's joking or not.
So what you see before you, standing at the counter, is a tall gentleman, about maybe 6 foot, green skin, tusks coming out of their lower jaw. They're half Orchid descent, with like a little apron on and their hair kind of like tied up. It's just long enough to be tied back, and they have little spectacles on.
Aw.
He motions you to come over to the counter, and he ducks underneath and pulls up a little crate where when he puts it down, you hear some jingling. He kind of like does this like little finger dab with his pointer fingers, and he's as if he's trying to go through his brain to figure out where the map would be. He goes, just a moment there, and he like ducks out back behind a door that leads into a back room, comes back out with a tube, and he puts that on the counter. Says, all right, what kind of jars are you looking for?
Just like glass vials, you know? Or let me see, what do you got? Let's look.
Sure. He opens the top and you see like round ones that would hold like traditionally potion bottles. You see tall, thin ones for like science kits.
I think she'll take like an assortment. So I say Elara has 20 gold. She spends 10 gold on 10 vials.
Okay.
And a map for Ivy. So, do you know anything about like the missing people or anything?
Ivy like furrows her brows at you.
She goes, I'm doing investigative work, you know?
Oh, you mean all the missing tourists?
Yes.
I've heard of it. I don't know anyone personally who went missing. You know, people talk. Some people just think that they came here to disappear.
Oh, like this is like one of those towns where people like run away?
Yeah, like they fake their death or something, or use the convenience of the rumors to vanish.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever seen anyone who has like weird scars on their cheeks? No, that doesn't sound right.
I was gonna say, I've seen a few of those.
You have? Do they wear cloaks?
I mean, you yourself have a scar on your face.
Oh, yeah. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like, And she looks at Ivy.
Ivy's amused.
She goes, okay, well, thanks for your help. This has been great.
He just nods. Sure, so all this together will run you about 11 gold.
Okay. She gives them 11 gold.
All right, and they hand you over the map with the container and 10 glass vials.
She puts the vials in her pocket and she hands the map over to Ivy.
Like, will that be all? Can I interest you in anything else? Mess kits, tents, sleeping bags?
No, I don't think so. Ivy?
No, I think I'm okay. She looks down at the map. She goes, do you just have maps of Thylacine? Do you have maps of other places?
We have maps of specific cities and towns, different kingdoms, if you want those specifically. We do not have maps of other continents, unfortunately.
All right.
Not a high demand.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Of course. Have a great day.
And she walks out.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Alright, so Ivy's gonna take a look at this map. She wants to see what it looks like compared to the map she has.
Oh boy, alright. You gonna pull them both out? It is very different. A lot of the names that are written on your old map, Ivy, are not on the new one.
So I do have a question. Does my map have where the Feywild portal is?
Yes.
Does the new map have where the Feywild portal is?
No, it does not mention it. You also see differences in landmass, too. Like there's rivers and vast bodies of water that don't exist in your old one. Parts of the land that are broken off that aren't in yours.
Where my map has the Feywild, is there a town on the new map, or is it just like empty space?
There is a town on the new map. So you see kind of like a indent of water, and right above it, there is a marking that says Shattered Cove, and just above that, there's a small blip. So you see the difference there is, on yours, the city of Vitrum does exist on your map. The Shattered Cove does not on yours, nor does the shattered pieces of land around it where you assume the name might have come from. Ivy and Elara, as you're looking at these maps and examining the differences, make a perception check for me.
15.
Nice.
26.
26? Amazing. Let me just roll something here. So you see, out of the corner of your eye, flash of black fabric.
She turns and looks.
Disappearing down the alleyway, Elara and Ivy, you both see a person in a black cloak run down it, disappearing from sight. Ivy, you, however, your eyes are caught on a bit of extra movement, a little higher. You look up, and perched on the roof like a fucking gargoyle of a building across the street from you is a person in a black cloak. As you look up and make eye contact, you see the pockmarked tear scars on this person, and they grin a sharp, toothy grin at you before turning and bolting.
Or they turn and bolt, she flips them off.
Elara goes, did you see that? And she points down the alleyway.
I saw that, and then I saw a fucking gargoyle up there.
Elara looks up.
Elara, you just see the tail end of a black cloak disappearing beyond the roof, out of sight.
What do you think that's about?
I was going to make a shitty joke, but I really do think it's probably not very good at all.
I was thinking the same thing. What do we do?
I think we
Should we,
should...
follow them?
No, I think we should probably go find Véres. To be 100% honest with you.
Okay.
I did just flip one off It was like reflex,
I mean,
to be honest.
are they following us or are they running away from us? What is happening?
I think it's like a really weird cat and mouse game.
I don't like it.
Have you make a perception check?
That is an 8+.
Ooh, that's a low one.
The number went through my brain. 8 + 6.
24. No, 14.
I was gonna say, Ivy, as you're talking to Elara, you hear something shift in the alley behind you, beside the general store.
She whirls around with her finger out, flipping.
You see the tail end of another cultist cloak. They were very close to you.
Motherfucker.
You're like leaning on the wall next to that alleyway.
I really think we should probably go find Véres now.
Okay. Should we go back to the inn? That's where we said we would meet.
Probably.
Okay. Do we see any more?
Are you looking for them?
Fuck yeah.
Make perception checks.
18.
That's fucking good.
I know. Come on, Ivy. What'd you get? 37.
21.
You, Elara, and you, Ivy, you both see, as you're heading back to the inn in a rush, you see two more cultists. Further down the road, ducking into an alley, the second you look at them.
They're like fucking cockroaches.
There's a lot of them.
So with your perception checks, besides those two darting down the alleyway, down at the guardhouse, you actually see two more of them turn and duck down the alley and the mayor walking off.
Amara goes, I knew it. That mayor is weird.
Shady shit.
You watch as Véres comes around the corner on the opposite end of where the cloaked people disappeared to and walks into the building.
She was about to yell, but then she stops.
Let's go. We start walking towards the guard building.
Do you enter?
Yeah.
You walk in and you see like an open front area, two windows on either side, and a little bit down this hall, you see a desk where a guard is currently sitting doing paperwork. There's a door to the right of that guard, and it's closed currently.
Excuse me? Hey, hi.
Oh, yes. Can I help you?
Yeah, we're looking for our friend, really, really, really tall, long pink hair.
Oh, yes.
Fancy white shirt.
He'll be out here shortly, I assume. Captain's not in the best mood, so he's probably going to get an earful.
Okay.
I wanna. What does the receptionist look like?
There is a dwarf gentleman with bright red hair, slightly tan skin, and brown eyes. Nice, well-kept red beard as well, braided into a point at the bottom with a gold ring. And he just is kind of like going over his paperwork, looking at you. You see he's probably about, God, he looks middle-aged, so he's got to be old for a dwarf. Says, you can have a seat on the bench over there if you like, and he nods towards the bench against the wall. Or you can wait outside. Entirely up to you.
No, I think we'll wait in here.
I want to look outside and see if I see any cultists.
Okay, make a perception check.
19.
19? Okay. You do see one pacing in the alleyway.
Interesting. She closes the door.
A few minutes go by, and you hear the door open, and the last thing you hear Véres say is, by the way, your back door's unlocked. And he turns and walks up.
Hey,
Oh, hello.
there's cultists everywhere.
They're like fucking cockroaches.
That's not disturbing at all. They were blocking the front entryway when I was first here.
I don't like this.
Nor do I, but we have some errands to run. What have you two been up to?
I got a map.
Oh, good. So no need to go to the general store? Good.
Elara got like 20,000 vials.
10. I got 10 of them.
10,000 vials, thank you.
Is that enough for you, or do you need more?
Probably more. But they're...
He's asking to be genuine. He's not being an asshole.
She just answered full throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more, but they're kind of expensive here. I guess it's like a tourist town. I don't know why anyone in a tourist town would be buying vials.
I mean, there's a science guild here.
That's true. But yeah, so I got some vials.
That was expensive.
Mm-hmm. 1 gold for a vial?
What could it cost, Elara? Like what?
It is pretty expensive, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, put it into perspective. She paid a gold for a glass vial. You paid a gold and a little bit for room and food.
But you know how money works because you're from here.
He
Solid,
swiftly pushes them
to
out
be
the door.
exact.
Totally, yes, forever.
Yeah. Born and raised, right?
Closes the door behind them.
Do we see any cultists?
Make perception checks.
Nope. 6.
I got a 2. I don't
my
see.
luck is Véres came back and my luck is gone.
Oh no, he's your dislucky charm.
18.
Ivy, you do see one in the alley, the one that Elara saw earlier.
She flips him off.
He hisses and runs.
Fucker.
Véres makes a face and continues down. Well, shall we?
Yes.
So I think that now that you all three are reconvened and heading towards the Science Guild, you guys start heading west and towards the tunnels and towards where you know to be the Science Guild of the town. On your way, you do occasionally see flits of black cloaks and pale faces, but not as many.
Why do you think that they are so, like, out and about all of a sudden?
Probably has something to do with us encroaching on their home.
Varys nods. Is that or they're looking for more people, which means they're getting desperate.
Desperate is not good.
No, it's not. They get reckless and more people will disappear even in broad daylight. So be careful.
What are they doing, though, to, like, stop this?
Riven is calling in forces from the town near us.
So until then, people just go missing?
Until then, every single person that she can manage to send out is out. But there are few of them and few of the guard and lots of them, so... And by the sounds of it, the mayor wasn't too pleased with her meddling, so...
Yeah, we saw him leaving the building. With 2 cultists.
You guys arrive to a kind of larger wooden building with a vague sign on the front, painted in kind of like this like weird green color. It says the Center of Ancient Civilization and Paranormal Research.
Cool.
There's a double wooden door in the front and 2 big windows where you can see people bustling about inside. Do you approach?
Mm-hmm.
You walk in, and what you see can only be described as organized chaos. There's lots of people bustling about at different stations, doing their work. Lots of people just shouting at each other to hand them certain tools and certain chemicals. Somebody yelling out results of some sort of test. In the front of the room, you see 2 desks, one on the right, one on the left. Behind one is a young gentleman with the sides of his head shaved, with tight, coily, curly hair on the top in like a mohawk sort of fashion. Deep brown skin, bright hazel eyes, about 5'10", and seems to be half-elven in descent. He is flipping through some paperwork, adjusting some glasses on his face, and on the other desk, you see another half-elven woman, this one with black hair, light skin, and blue eyes, and she's also flipping through paperwork rapidly, opening drawers, looking for something. And on the plaques in front of their desk, it says reception. Behind them, there's an open room, sectioned off only by large tables. And you see one place has a slew of equipment you do not recognize, laid out neatly in order on a table, and they're going through some gadgets and talking amongst themselves. On the table in front of them, you see somebody hunched over what looks to be some sort of rock, going over it with a mallet and chisel and a magnifying glass, just being very careful. You see that there's a bit of water beside them and a brush as well, and they're just kind of going through it, slow and steady, making notes as they go. There's another table with some, what can only be described as like artifacts. There's little gadgets that you don't quite have a name for, and they have it set on what is like an arcane equation, and it flares to life, seemingly to be identifying it and making notes as they go. Another person is going through a tome, a very, very old tome. They're wearing gloves so as to not have the pages dissolve. And they're just making notes and seeming to be paying very close attention to this book. Everybody's doing something here.
Which person looks less busy?
The gentleman with the small mohawk seems to be the least busy. He's just casually flipping through paperwork.
So she goes up to him. Hi, hello.
Oh, hello. What can I do for you?
I guess, I'm here to actually see if your guild has any, sending stones to the lab in Halsphere.
Oh, are you with a lab?
Yeah, well, I'm from there, but I am, and she like reaches into one of her pockets and she pulls out her guild badge. I'm from the Royal Spot Lab of Citrine.
And his face brightens with like a bit of excitement. He says, "You're from the Royal Spot Lab?
Mm-hmm.
No way. What brings you this far out?"
I'm just finishing up my 5 year, really, and just kind of traveling, seeing the guilds.
Oh, amazing. And he points over at the other desk. He's like, Mayumi is actually on her first year
Oh,
of her 5.
cool.
Pretty cool. I'll check and see if we have any sending stones available for that. Give me one moment, Miss Spark. Sorry, Miss Spinelspark.
Mm-hmm.
He heads out, just kind of like rushes down back. Véres looks at Elara.
She goes, I don't know why he called me Miss Spinelspark.
It sounds to me like you're kind of hot shit or something.
Just a little.
Well, not me, per se. More so the lab. And Rohis is pretty, well, they're like the head of the entire, mechanized engineering division. So, yeah, it's mostly them.
But you were able to secure a spot in that guild?
Yeah.
Didn't you mention earlier that Rohis was your mentor?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think that's a big deal?
I guess I haven't really thought about it. They're a big deal.
And they're your mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that somebody that's that hot shit wouldn't want to work with someone who isn't equally hot shit.
She nods and then, like, kind of shrugs.
Véres looks at Elara and he's like, I feel like you're underselling yourself.
Just a little.
She goes, no, it's the lab, It's a really important lab.
That you're a part of.
Yeah.
Which means you're important.
Well, I'm also, I told you, on like my 5th or 6th strike before I'm out, so,
Well, apparently you only need 3 and you're out. So obviously somebody likes you there.
It's about at this time that you see the gentleman that had run off to check your sending stone is returning out of a door in the back. And he hustles up the aisle to you guys and says, I'm very sorry. We don't have any sending stones to that lab.
Oh, no, it's okay. I figured maybe you might not everyone does. That's fine. What's your name, by the way? And also, you don't call me Miss Spinelspark, please. It sounds so weird. You can just call me Elara.
Oh.
If you want to.
Certainly. My name is Felix.
Nice to meet you.
You as well, Elara.
Thanks.
Did you also want to tour the lab, or while you were here?
Sure, yeah.
Or is there anything else I can help you with in the interim?
Well, she looks at Ivy and Véres. She goes, do we want to, like, ask them questions about, the missing people?
I suppose it can't hurt.
I asked the guy in the shop, and it really just came out really weird.
It really did. It really did.
It's a hard way. I mean, how do you, like, nonchalantly just be like, oh, so those missing people, She goes, speaking of, like, being, like, nonchalant, watch this. She looks.
Véres and I make eye contact.
Yeah, Véres, like, bombastic side eye.
She looks at Felix and she goes, I don't know if you heard, but I read recently that there was this creature that came through the portal, in Vitrum. Did you hear about it?
Oh, I did hear about it. Apparently it caused a lot of damage before they got it under control.
Mm-hmm. Magical stuff just going wild lately, it seems.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, magic is hard to control in the first place, so.
Mm-hmm.
It's from what I have both heard and witnessed. And he looks behind him, and you see in the back, the very back, the person with all the gadgets you couldn't identify kind of twirls the fingers in the air, and there's a flash of kind of like blackish green in the air, and then an effect occurs.
Cool. She looks back at Ivy and Véres and, like, nods, She goes, see? Super smooth, right? Also, They seem chill about magic, which is cool, but still don't be like weird about it, you know?
Varys nods.
Okay.
Ivy does too. Bia also nods.
Feels like, just nodding along with all of you.
I'm obsessed with the fact that Elara's like, don't be weird when Ivy has a literal pseudo dragon on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felix actually looks at the pseudo dragon. He's like, adorable, first of all. Where did you get them?
I found her by a river.
No way. A creature that rare?
Very. You can't just pop into any old store and purchase one. They're so rare.
Incredible. She's real cute.
She knows.
I imagine she does. She seems quite spoiled. And he just grins.
Oh, very much. Oh my god. Most spoiled pseudo dragon ever.
I apologize, though. Let me give you a quick tour.
Sure.
And he turns around and he takes you through the areas. The first place he stops on the left is where the gentleman was like dusting a rock, it looked like, or chiseling away at a rock. He says, "This is Vimmel. He's the head of our paleontology department." Vimmel glances up with a like 3-layer magnifying glass. It looks like a mole person. Like, you know that guy from Atlantis?
Yes.
Looks a little bit like that. He looks up and he has like a bald spot in the center of his head, and he is halfling in descent, kind of older, a little heavier set, darker skin, black eyes, brown hair, and he's like he goes, "Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to the lab. I'm currently just going through a very old species of plant that I've discovered. This hasn't been seen in centuries, possibly before the Forsaking, so I apologize if I'm a little absorbed."
No, this is very interesting.
It is.
Where did you find it?
Actually, in the tunnels, as you probably know, there's an archaeological dig down there. There was quite a diverse population of plant life down there that I am discovering only recently.
They let you like in there?
Oh yes, that is our facility, so...
Oh.
The only time that we need to really ask permission is to delve out further than the area we've already dug up, which has been a task these days.
To like dig more?
No, to get permission to leave the area, yes.
Why?
Well, every time we put out a request, the mayor seems to deny it for one reason or another.
Bastard.
It's just quite annoying, and I understand that he's probably worried about our safety, but can't make discoveries without a little risk, you know?
Yeah. Has anyone ever, like, gone missing down there?
Oh, yes, we've lost a few researchers down there over the years. Pitfalls and whatnot.
That's unfortunate.
Part of the risk of the business, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay.
But, no one I know has been, like, taken, per se, as the town seems to assume is happening. And where are you from?
Oh, I'm from the Royal Spot Lab.
Oh, welcome.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
Quite a long distance you've come.
Yeah, well, I'm on my 5-year, finishing it, so...
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea what you're going to focus in?
No, not really. I'm still deciding, so...
Oh, but you're almost done your 5-year.
Mm-hmm.
No inkling whatsoever?
No, I kind of like a lot of different things, you know?
Decision is hard.
Yeah.
He nods and it's like, any particular interest you'd like to see next? We have anthropology, archaeology, and parapsychology here.
Probably anthropology would be interesting, right, friends?
And Véres nods. He's like, that could be intriguing. Which table would that be? And Vimmel, as he was introduced as, gestures to the table across the way, directly across the hall, and says, "You'd want to speak to Paxton." At the shout of his name, a broad human gentleman looks up from what he was doing and makes eye contact with you all and just kind of gives a little wave.
We go over. Thanks, Vimmel. Good luck with your plant rock.
Ah, thank you. Good luck with your search.
Thanks.
Do you all follow Elara over? Véres certainly does. Paxton looks up at you all and kind of sits back in his chair and fixes his vest. This gentleman is very heavy set. A little shorter. He's about 5'7", has light, kind of dirty blonde hair and green eyes and freckles. He sits back and looks at you all. Just smiles, an easy smile. What can I do for you?
We're kind of interested, I think, in maybe knowing about any civilization stuff that you have found down in the tunnels.
I found a lot of things, so you might need to narrow it down a little. Otherwise, I could talk your ear off all day.
We heard there was cult shit.
Oh, straight to the point. I like it. He chuckles, and it's like a deep, like, belly laugh. And he sits back, contemplates it a bit, kind of like stroking his chin, which is brief of the beard. You see it's an uneven shave. And he thinks and goes, you know, there is signs of a very extremist religious group in Lothent. So far, interestingly enough, it seems to be based around the god Mortimer, which doesn't get a whole lot of extremist groups typically.
Why is that?
I find that the more popular a religion is, the more likely they are to have variations of it. Mortimer is popular by necessity, not so much somebody you want to worship.
Well, yeah, being the god of death, I can see that. So, extreme religious group who worships the god of death.
Correct. There are many signs of them all around. I see that they're not really part of mainstream society so far, but that doesn't mean they weren't prominent.
What could go wrong?
Well, many things.
Like people going missing, maybe?
Getting hissed at, maybe.
He quirks an eyebrow and says, I apologize. I seem to have misunderstood the intention of this.
No, we're...
Véres snorts and puts a hand over their mouth.
What do you think the intention of this was?
Are you looking for a summary of my findings, or are you trying to investigate what's happening in this town?
I mean, your findings will help.
He nods.
To see how long the fucking cult's been here for.
The cult has existed before the Forsaking, so hundreds of years, if not longer. They were well established by the time Lothent fell.
So do you think that they're still around today?
He chuckles like, if they are, and they somehow survived the burying of an entire city, I hate to think of what they would have had to do to survive.
I mean, there's a lot of people running around with cloaks out there.
I'd literally just reach my arm out the window and grab somebody and pull them in at this point. It's like, do you get out much, or?
Did she ask that?
No.
Oh, Véres clears his throat. Have you looked out a window recently?
All four of them like turn to look out the window, and there's one just staring in.
No, but there is somebody in a black cloak lingering.
No! Elara's like, there's a lot of people in cloaks out there.
They're literally like rats multiplying at this point. I don't know if they're just the people who are going missing, if they're recruiting them or brainwashing them, or it's like at every fucking turn you squash one, you flip off one, and three appear.
He starts laughing. He's like, well, I can appreciate that. To answer your question, no, I don't leave the lab very often.
Well, you're probably better off because they are snatching people left and right.
Snatching people up in the streets.
For another thing, just because somebody's wearing a cloak does not mean they're part of a cult. And he gestures to their friend Véres, who is currently having a cloak on their back. Unless, of course...
He's probably part of a cult somewhere.
Véres looks at you weird.
We only just met. Okay, but what about ritualistic scarring?
Oh, yes, that was prevalently seen, actually, in the Cult for Mortimer. I find evidence that it's either was referred to as the Cult of Mourning or the Cult of Loss, and I'm not sure which one it was. But they were often seen with, like, their bones, like their facial structures of their skulls, often had almost tear marks burned into the skull on their cheeks.
Well,
what about sharpened teeth?
No, I haven't noticed that on any of the skeletons recently. Depending on the lineage, of course.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people. We've seen some with the scars on their cheeks. So just like what, keep an eye out for yourself. You know.
Watch your
At
back.
that, at that he like flushes a bit, and he starts like sweating just slightly, and just like takes out a handkerchief and like dabs, and he's like, "Oh goodness, I hope not."
Yeah, no, they definitely are. But we're on the case, so
Full of fucking confidence.
And you are investigators, capable investigators.
unofficially, yeah. We seem to have gotten ourselves just really, really right in the middle of this whole thing. So we're doing our best. Thank you for the information.
At this time, in the back, behind where the paleontologist was sitting, where that table with all the weird new like gadgets set out, you see another flash of blackish green coloration. Instead of it just blinking out, you see it go wide and go towards the table directly across. And the person hits the deck, like they hit the floor, and you see it collide with the wall and melt into it.
Oh my god.
Ivy raises her hand and she goes, what the fuck is that?
At that question, you see a very skinny older human man stand up, huffing indignantly, and adjust their lab coat as they look at the person over in Paris' eye. While he adjusts his spectacles, he says, "Could you watch what you're doing? Where you're tossing spells around, you fucking wand whipper?"
Ivy looks at Véres and Elara to see.
Alara's face goes pale.
Varys like whips his head towards them at the mention of the slur wand whipper. The guy in the lab coat continues, "You very nearly took my head off, Armia." The person across who you assume to be Armia is a half-elf with long, straight black hair, as she says, "Well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus over here. But I can't do that with you fucking glaring at me out of the corner of your eye." And the older man with the spectacles goes, "You?" And he points at her. "You mages are all so entitled." Varys just shakes their head like, "Oh no." "Armia," she says, "we're entitled. You scientists." And they let out a breath, trying to compose themselves and calm down. "Look, we're all trying to find out the same things. I'm sorry that my spell went wide." And the scientist, the older gentleman, again huffs indignantly, fixes their glasses on the bridge of their nose, and he goes, "Well, I just think that mages shouldn't be part of the science community anyway. It's not exactly the kind of qualitative research we require here." The whole room goes silent now and has turned to kind of look at these two. He continues on. "Your magic and errant spells are constantly interfering with our findings."
Ivy looks at Elara.
Alara's just like staring, like wide-eyed. And she takes out her worry stone and starts like frantically working it.
Armia just kind of like looks over at the scientist and says, "Nevin, we're all trying to do the same thing. I really think that we should have followed Paxton's suggestion and gotten those blockers so we didn't interfere with one another. I know it's a little extra gold, but we wouldn't need to do that if mages had just stayed illegal. Do you have mages in your guild?" And the person in the lab coat, who was identified as Nevin, looks over to you, Elara. "Yes, you, Miss Spittlesbuck, all the way from the Royal Spot Lab."
No, the Royal Spot Lab doesn't have any mages.
"It must be nice to work in an environment where you're not constantly having to worry about getting your head blown off by errant spells." Paxton turns around and goes, Okay, I think that's quite enough."
Alara looks at Ivy and Varys, and I think she looks like she's about to cry, and she's pale, and her skin is like kind of splotchy with all these like red spots. And she goes, "We should go. I would like to go right now, please."
"All right." And Varys kind of like looks at Paxton and says, "Thank you again for your information." Paxton nods and gives a little wave goodbye, and Varys will walk behind Elara and Ivy out of the lab.
I think Ivy's staring down the scientist.
"Ivy, we should go out of here now. Come on."
She follows, still looking at the scientist as she walks out.
As you leave, the tension in the room is still quite thick. Paxton and Vimal both go to the back to just try to defuse the situation as you exit the door.
Thanks so much for listening. We're incredibly grateful for the love and support.
And P.S. if you want more content, check out our Patreon for free clips, bonus scenes, and if you join the Red Rogues, you'll get access to the Rainbow Dice Club chat and after show where we talk about past episodes.
If you're enjoying the show, please consider leaving us a 5-star review and tell your friends about us.
Special thanks to our Green Fiend Patreon supporters, Jen Bear and Michael.
And with that, our story pause is here for today. Join us next time as we continue our adventures, and remember, it's never too late to start your own.
Bye!
Oh, Ivy, yeah. Actually, no, it's probably Véres. It's probably
No.
Véres getting his fucking workout in.
Actually, not today. Varys sleeps in today.
Sacrilegious.
Yeah, it's probably really terrifying to Reg, actually.
We're just like outside his door with like her ear to it, listening to him breathe.
No, Reg is fucking dealing with the breakfast rush.
Mm-hmm.
That she's been gone 10 years. No, 2 years. How many years?
10 years.
Sorry.
Mhm.
And all the time. Sorry.
I think it's 10 anyway, right?
It is. I think so. We're going. What do you mean? We're going to the
Going to
general
that
store.
fucking general
Okay.
store.
I was just making jokes all the time. But let's go.
No, you really wanted
To get Ivy a map before we left.
to get Ivy a map. Yeah.
No. Are you gonna stay at the back door? Or are you gonna come up and say hi?
I don't know. You're very got a lot of energy. No, I shouldn't say that.
21.
21?
21.
Okay.
21.
I had chocolate in my mouth.
Fair.
It's okay. Should I play the guard?
I can play the guard if you want.
Okay.
God, he looks middle-aged, so he's gotta be old for a dwarf.
Ivy's tight.
Daddy issues?
You got it. You got it in one.
All the
They're
places.
like, oh damn, our standing stone broke. Jeffrey dropped it when he was here
Jeffrey.
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 Bringing it
Jeffrey.
full circle.
That fucking Jeffrey, man.
Do we want to like ask them questions about like seeing people?
Do that closer to the mic, please.
There's nods. It's like, yeah, that could be in. Sorry. Sorry.
Wayward briefly
So-
possesses Véres.
That could be interesting. Keep laughing. Sorry.
That could be interesting.
That could
I
be
want to
interesting.
study.
I want to study your blood.
General store.
Oh yeah, that's right. You really want to go
You
to
need
the
to mail
general
that letter.
store.
We need to get Ivy a map that's functional.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably should get some health potions.
Do you know how many times Wayra has mentioned general store in the recordings?
A lot, yeah.
At least like 3 or 4 times in episode
I'm
1.
trying to ingrain it in your brain that we need to get Ivy a map.
Yeah.
She's gonna be traveling with you guys. She doesn't need a map.
Ivy doesn't give a fuck about a map. I just think it's so funny.
We could also just say we have them. We don't actually need to go. I just wanted to get Ivy a map.
Oh no, we're going to the general store.
Okay.
And someone is
We're
pulling
not.
an NPC out of their ass, and it's
Cool.
not me.
You wanna buy a potion?